Alpha Phi Alpha, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, Delta Sigma Theta, Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, Iota Phi Theta. Hi, this is Eric, and welcome to Greekly Speaking. I'm pleased to have joining me today Ms. Angelica Jones and Ms. Keisha Allen. They are co-founders of the Nelia Zone, which is an authorized source of Greek paraphernalia for all organizations in the Divine Nine. Keisha, Angelica, welcome to Greekly Speaking. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for such a warm welcome. This is Angelica Joe and
hello there. This is Keisha Allen. Thank you. And I am absolutely incredible. Thank you for asking.
Well, my pleasure. And we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. We are always happy to have members of Delta Sigma Theta coming through and sharing a little bit of their Greek journey and letting us know about projects that they have going on. First things first, I hope everything is going okay on your side of the map. Where are you all calling in from today?
I'm calling in from Detroit, Michigan, by way of Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
And I'm calling in from Fayetteville, North Carolina, by way of the Show Me State, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, well, speaking of that, let's start with you. So what did Delta show you that made you want to join the organization?
Oh my gosh. I know it sounds like something that, they must have trained them to say this, but the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta have always presented such a positive light and an inspiration for me. Growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, I lived in the inner city. I am a generational person who all of my family went to one specific high school, which was Vashon High School in St. Louis, Missouri. I met my husband, who will be my husband forever, in high school in St. Louis, Missouri. So we had positive presentation. You saw the leaders, you saw people like congresswomen, you read Fox, astronauts, mathematicians, police officers, doctors, lawyers, you run the gamut of it. So you had women all over who went on to join Harris Stowe College and form the Alpha and Omega chapter there. And from those women, they became adults, young women became adults, and they became teachers and all of these influential people in the community. And of course, I was one of their understudies, so to speak. I watched them. I saw how they moved in the community, the positive things that they did for social action and economic empowerment. And I just wanted to be whatever they were. I saw it in conjunction with my mom. Those were my other mentors and people that I looked up to.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you had some wonderful examples to follow. You were able to see what they were doing, and they provided you with a good glimpse of a great pattern to follow. And Angelica, what about you? What Greek influences did you have, and what inspired you to join?
Well, coming from the South, in the South, there were a lot of organizations from the Masons to the Order of the Eastern Stars, even down to the Deacon Boards, which was very highly coveted as being parts of organizations. But since I had been at the age of 5 years old, I saw Delta I was exposed to Delta and the Greek societies within my hometown. And the one that really spoke to me were those women of Delta Sigma Theta. Even though may have not known the name, it was something about their presence when they were out there in the communities, when they were in my schools, when they were at the churches. And then I grew up from a college-bound family who supported Stillman College. And so on the college scene, you see all the fraternities and all the sororities, and Delta stuck out to me. So from age 5, I studied the ways of the Delta women, and one woman in particular, her name was Sandra Snoddy. She was from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and a distant family of ours. And I used to always see her every other Saturday in this beautiful, sleek, black A-line dress with the pearls on. I never knew where she was going to, but it was something about her elegance of when you saw her, she was doing something in the community and she was a part of some type of sisterhood, and I wanted to grow up to be like her. So the thing about it is that I spent all of my elementary school years, middle school years, high school years saying I could not wait to go to college, because I wanted to be one of those women that I had seen who had taught me, who had taught Sunday school to my peers and I, who I had seen do things out there in the community. And it was Delta Sigma Theta that stuck out all the time. I'm happy, and I made the best decision from age 5.
Well, that is all right. That is all right. You made your mind up early.
Yes.
And that is great. So let's talk about how that's impacted your life. Keisha, so you mentioned that, hey, you've had some great examples as well, but after joining the organization, what impact did it have on your life?
Well, when I say impact, I want to say it molded my life. It molded my life in a way that I knew service was first. Before you can be anybody, you have to do something for somebody. So my idea was to always serve. And when I say serve in a capacity that included my educational experience at Grambling State University, and take that education and attain the highest educational goals that we can possibly attain, and that's a PhD in psychology. So as a psychologist, my primary principle is to help people foster better working relationships. I specialize in industrial and organizational psychology with a actual focus in grief counseling. So helping people, being there for people, supporting people came from my foundation, which were my parents. And from that, being the youngest in my family, I had one brother who pledged Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and he led the way. The ability to start something in a positive light, the ability to implement, create, and develop new things. So therein rests my entrepreneurial spirit, and Deltas, they check off all the boxes. It's, everything encompasses in our 5-point programmatic thrust what it is that I, as a just dedicated citizen, want to provide for my community.
Angelica, what about you? What impact has Delta had on your life?
It has made a major impact. It's really, I would rather say it has enhanced my life. Coming from a family that was community service oriented to begin with educational goals for all of us young folks in the family, it has enhanced what already been taught to do and the think mode that has already been instilled with me. I have a major impact with 1,000 or some, like as the kids say, 1,000 sorority sisters worldwide and folks that I can go anywhere in the world. And if I see a Delta Sora around, if I need assistance, if I just need to hang out, or if I just need anything, just the friendship, you're walking into open arms wherever you go and all. And of course, it has its perks as well, but the thing about it is that it's an open sisterhood with flaws and all. You are accepted, even if it's for an hour to a couple of weeks or a lifetime with a lot of them. And social media has made it even better because I've met sisters that I've never seen before, and I feel just the same as if they were standing here side by side. So it's a lot of great love, a lot of great sisterhood, and a lot of community service to make a difference with like-minded people.
Well, and that's good that you point that out. And obviously you had examples to follow. And so it may have been a little easier for you to make a connection with that lifestyle and some of the things that they were doing and some of the programs that they sponsor, right? But for that one person who may be on the fence or considering joining a Greek organization, what advice would you give them? And Keisha, we'll start with you.
I always tell people, and it is an old age adage that rings true with anything. Reading is fundamental, but also involvement. If you get up and do something, surround yourself with the people who you want to emulate. And it's nothing wrong with taking that bold step. You have to come out of your shell sometimes to find out more about something that you have no idea about. So go up to someone, ask the question, and if you are truly interested, you won't stop asking questions. Say, for instance, you may encounter someone that's having a bad day, and Deltas typically don't have bad days.
I love it.
But you go in and you just meet people and ask questions and read about it. Look into the history of it. Just like you're preparing to interview for a job, find out about the background of that organization that you want to be a part of. And always think of it as something that I want to be a part of. And then everybody else around you, whatever they have that they want to contribute, they can contribute it too. So it's almost like Delta is just this big pool sphere of influence that you can ping anywhere and get information and things that could promote you and support you in every endeavor that you may want to inquire about or just you're interested in. And as we say always, we're not speaking on behalf of our executive leadership, but we can say as members how we feel. And this is our personal experience.
And Angelica, what about you? What advice would you give that person that's considering joining a Greek organization, whether it's fraternity or sorority? What would you tell them?
Yes. My advice is that no matter what you think that you want to join, which organization, it's your responsibility to read about the rich history of each one of them, including the ones that you have never thought about joining, including the ones you said that you would never join. You have to give, at that time it was the Great Eight, now it's the Divine Nine. You have to give them their homage because they have been pillars of the community since 1906. And sometimes if you look at the history, you may see some things that started earlier, but of course with the Masons and the Order of the Eastern Star. They've been pillars of the Black community since the beginning of the Black community after slavery and prior to as well, and all with Masonry. So look at each one's history, appreciate it. Appreciate Sigma Gamma Rho's history, even if you want to be an AKA or a Delta or a Zeta. Appreciate Zeta's history. Appreciate Alpha Kappa Alpha's history. Appreciate the history of the organization that you want to join. Look at the connecting parts when it comes to Phi Beta Sigma and Omega Psi Phi and Kappa Alpha Psi and Iota Phi Theta. Everybody's history. Appreciate it, internalize it. It will either reinforce what you want to go for, and sometimes it may change your mind. You may say, hey, I thought I wanted this, but I like this mission better. But the one thing that interconnects us all is the community service and our service to mankind and making life a little bit better through the missions of the organizations. We all have something that we have contributed, and we also have something that is of value in the development of the African American community since the beginning of time to now.
So I really wish that you all were a member of my church when I was growing up, so I could have heard that speech. That sounded really, really insightful, and it's very good advice. And I'm glad you mentioned paying respect to the other organizations, because we do that when we're on campus, right? We have friends that are members of all organizations, and even after college. And Keisha, like you were saying, when you read, do the research, right? Just like you're preparing for an interview. I think that is some sound advice, and I hope our listeners that may be considering joining an organization, I hope they take heed. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your Greek journey. Very good information, but I would like at this time, I want to turn to a project that you all have going on, and I was very impressed to hear about this Nalia Zone. And maybe you can share with us some of the history behind it, how you all came up with the concept. Angelica, let's start with you.
When I come to this point, let me just reiterate, we're not speaking for Delta Sigma Theta or any of the organizations that have members in Nalia Zone. So let me get that out the way. But going to Nalia Zone, it started with the concept of a sorority-only group. Back in June, we were requested to help our host chapter for the National Convention with the fundraiser. So I'll let Keisha talk more about it, but it was a major success because our members came on board and they helped that host chapter become a success. At the same time, after that convention was canceled due to extreme weather, we had the chance and the choice of expanding the group or just keeping it with only our licensed vendors in another group. At the 11th hour, Nalia Zone was born, and it allowed for all licensed vendors to meet or greet or service any Divine 9 member with their paraphernalia, with their branded goods in one big group. And so Nalia Zone was born at the end of August, where licensed vendors can come into a ready-made group of potential customers. And at that time, it was like 5,000 strong. And now we're over 18,000 members. But the Nalia Zone allows any member from a Black Greek-lettered organization to come in and shop from their licensed vendors. And it's in efforts to also head off the unlicensed or the bootleg vendors, as some would say, from selling to our D9 brothers and sisters, because a lot of them have been taken advantage of. And also a lot of these unlicensed vendors have made millions off of the actual organizations by not paying them a license. And also some have ripped off a lot of D9 members as well. So we distinguish the quality vendors who happen to be the licensed vendors who pay those licensing fees to the organizations and to service their members. So that's the gist of Nalia Zone. And Keisha?
And as Angelica said, that's truly where it all, Nalia Zone was born. And it gave us the authorization pretty much to, and the foresight to say, hey, when that hurricane blew through New Orleans and everybody was fearful and people just started packing up and leaving. So as I returned, we were like, hey, you know what? People lost a lot. They didn't get to do primarily what they came there to do, and that was to sell the goods and services that they had, particularly the licensed vendors. So we like to deal with licensed, authorized vendors, and the call to that bred and bore Nalia Zone. And it gave people who would have had the opportunity at the convention to come online. People like Utopia Creations and Renee Marie, those are two of the local vendors in New Orleans who came right online and were able to still try to make a profit in their business. And we're talking about, these are some small businesses and typically addressed as mom and pops. These aren't conglomerates. These aren't major stores or people who have major investors or banks behind them. Our primary principle is to give them a place to showcase their goods and have people there that they invite with common knowledge of their respective organizations and peruse 24/7.
So if I'm a vendor and I wanted to participate in the marketplace, what would I need to do?
First, you contact us by inbox or email. And our email is knowyourzone for BGLO at gmail.com. That's our
4.
email. The number 4.
Number 4. Yeah.
Or you can find us on Facebook by just putting in Know Your Zone. But we have an admins group, and that is short for administrators and vendors. Our admins group is the first stop that a licensed vendor will tap into in order to become a Know Your Zone vendor. And the admins group is our communication central for any licensed vendor to learn more about Know Your Zone and how to join it. When we first did the Know Your Zone, we knew that a lot of vendors had lost money. They had lost like thousands, like $30,000 of inventory that they could not sell. And then some things they couldn't even bring back with them because of damage. So we told that first group of vendors, we said, hey, come over into Know Your Zone. We'll let you in for free just to make up your money. Okay. And so we gave them 2 months to make their money. And then after that, there was a small nominal fee. And that nominal fee was only $30 per month for that first round of vendors. And a lot of people may have say, okay, $30 a month, but think about it. Most vendors, when they go to an event and they pay for a table, they're paying something upwards of $400 for one day for a table or a vendor's table. So we said, consider this like a vendor's table for a whole month. It's only $30. You can sell as much as you want to. I can tell you right now, one of those vendors, the first 2 days that we opened up Know Your Zone, he made over $19,000.
Wow.
On that first day. He had a high-end item though, but he made over $19,000. So that's not typical with Know Your Zone, but a lot of vendors are making a great profit because of it. You can make money in Know Your Zone while you sleep if you are a vendor. But at the same time, we are outfitting a lot of our D9 members with quality merchandise. And they want that merchandise because we do have vendor deserts. Believe it or not, in a lot of cities, there are a lot of these vendors who don't have the brick and mortars anymore. They're online, but they need the customers coming to them as well. So it's a win-win-win situation for both the vendor and the customer, because we're putting them in contact with one another in ways that they normally would not have the contact with one another.
I think it's a really good service, and people should know that when you support licensed vendors, you're actually supporting your own organization as well, because these are vendors that are paying the necessary fees to be able to legally provide merchandise for that organization, right?
Absolutely. And that's pretty much both of our area expertise. It's marketing and business. Our goal is to eliminate the unlicensed and unauthorized and uninvested people from profiting off of our combined years of engagement and involvement. So therein, when we have our admins group, we discuss better ways to service their customers, or better ways that we can suggest, or well, we make suggestions, let's say that. And other vendors, in the same token, offer suggestions in ways that they are supporting their customers. So it's, to us, like we stated before, it's a win-win-win situation. And I believe now this is going to be our new normal, and we're thankful and grateful that our national leadership gave us the opportunity to break off and start something that is a private entity. It's something that's not associated with the organization, but just so happen we are members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and we are proud to represent that fact. So thank you so much for this platform to speak on Nelia Zone.
And speaking, Eric, on this, you had mentioned something earlier about family who would like to purchase items for their D9 or D9 loved ones. And there have been oftentimes where family members, not knowing about the Greek system, have bought the wrong stuff for them.
Yes.
So we headed that off. We have a friends and family group. And the friends and family group allows friends and family to go into one of our Nelia Zone branded groups, and they can tell the vendors or put on the wall, I just know that they're in the sorority. I don't know the name of it, but okay, what are the colors? And if they say the colors, we know. If you say blue and white and it's a woman, we know it's a Zeta. If they say pink and green and it's a woman, we know it's Alpha Kappa Alpha. So we have several splinter groups or exclusive groups with the Nelia Zone brand. And friends and family is one of them, for our friends and family to shop for gifts for us, for our birthdays, for Christmas or whatever. Husbands and wives are in there shopping for their D9 loved ones. We have All Things Phi Beta. That's an exclusive group for you know who. It's all blue and white and beautiful quality items. So we have the Royal Experience. And we also have the Creamery 2 Super Lounge, along with Pretty in Pink. And we even also have our HBCU Pride group by Nelia Zone for everything that's HBCU items. But piggybacking on what Keisha was saying, we do have vendor education workshops or meetings with the vendors to better enhance their business with certain tools and, tips and resources. And we have some great ones, like we have All That in Some, which is a stellar vendor. We have Align the Cross, High Five Graphics, Need Nelia. There are so many more, but we want people, please visit Nelia Zone. We have so much more to offer, and it's a great community to shop. And also, we are supporting our community, with economic wealth and development as well. It's, with Nelia Zone, we're supporting one another. That's the bottom line.
And just like she said, and that's pretty much giving a shout out to a list of vendors. And it's not necessarily to name everybody that's in there, but it's vendors that kind of started there. Leaf Skin Products, The Perfect Piece, Bag Lady D, Ruby Room, High Five Graphics, Created for Delta by Linda Evans, Cozy Cushions, The Original African Violet by Vicki Alston, BCE Shoes, Southern Elegance Candles, Remember Me LLC, and Having the Conversation. It's so many vendors that we literally have grown together in Nelia Zone. They came to us out the gate. They were like, hey, this sounds like a good thing to do. So they started out with us, and now they're moving, and we have testimonials even, because we have elderly folks or seasoned citizens and sorors across the gamut in each organization, and frat brothers across other organizations that say, hey, I can't get out, but I can get my mail. And when I get this box or my package from this online venture, that I know it's coming from a positive place, and that these are people who genuinely have my organizational needs in mind, and I receive that package, it makes me feel like I'm a part again. even if I can't afford to make it to the next convention, but I can go to my chapter meeting, or I can go to a local organization get together and represent just like everybody else, and something new, something quality, something prideful, and it makes me feel so good. So that's primarily everything that I can say to encapsulate what Nelia Zone has offered, the Creamery has offered for us, and it's actually a service that we have done that's economically empowering, and it's just a community service piece for us as Deltas to provide for our communities in any way we possibly can.
And plus, the thing about it, Eric, is that if you're dealing with Nelia Zone, you know you're dealing with some licensed vendors.
I think I check about 6 of those boxes that you just listed. So, because the thing is, depending on where you are, you can't just go close to that HBCU and to that Greek shop that's down the street. Back in the day, now
Right.
things are different. And it's great to not have to just start, Googling, okay, Greek paraphernalia. I can go here and I'm just looking at the long list of vendors you have listed here, and it's like being in a mall. And I just go to one URL and I can just click and shop, and I've already seen a couple of things. I got to figure out how to get it without my wife seeing how much money I spend. But I've got some things that we might need to take care of after this. But
let me warn you now, while you're talking, it's addictive, so be careful.
Well, the main thing is that it's available, and hats off to you ladies and the Nelia Zone for helping to spread the concept of entrepreneurship within our virtual communities. I love it, and I wish nothing but the best to you, Angelica and Keisha. Thank you so much for joining us on Greekly Speaking.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Angelica and Keisha, founders of the Nelia Zone, who appeared on a recent episode of the Greekly Speaking podcast. We had such a great time hearing their Greek stories and also about the wonderful things they have going on with the Nelia Zone. I'm Eric Tucker, host of the Greekly Speaking podcast, where we're asking NPHC Greeks what inspired them to join their organizations, how has being Greek impacted their lives, and what advice would they give to someone who's considering going Greek?
Give us